This next unit, we are going to be working on setting and developing SMART goals. At first, this can be a little bit overwhelming, but the more that you continue to develop goals, whether they're your own personal SMART objectives or whether you are given a situation and you have to develop a SMART goal using the SMART goal criteria. Realize that SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. So when constructing a SMART objective, it's important that your SMART goal statement incorporates each area of the criteria in order to make it a SMART goal. It's very important that you guys use the SMART goal setting because when you're starting to develop a goal, you want to make sure that it's specific as possible. You want to make sure that it's measurable so you'll be able to track your progress, and you want to make sure that it's timely so that way you have motivation to achieve that goal at a specific end date. I want you to also realize that the decisions you make and the goals that you set are going to define your future for you. We talked in class about getting good grades. That's something that's important to many of you as we learned about, getting into a good college and then an end result of getting a good job. So think about setting clear and measurable goals for yourself, and writing them down is a really important process so that way you're able to look at them each day, and the more that you're able to look at the goal, the more potential you have of achieving that goal. Also think about the increased rewards, okay, and the increased motivation that you have in using this SMART goal strategy. So S stands for specific. What do you want to accomplish? So you have to begin with a self-assessment. Look at your life and see what you want out of it. Here I've clearly used an example of, being non-specific. I want to lose weight. Okay, that's great, but it's not stating how you plan on losing that weight, why it's important to you, and it's also not giving you a clear and measurable goal. Obviously you can see I've gotten a little bit more specific when it says, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds by the start of basketball season. So now it has given you a benchmark date of I want to lose 10 pounds by, most basketball seasons start, second week in November. So now it has given you a clear, measurable opportunity of how you're going to track that, whether it's tracking it in a journal or on a calendar. I find the most important process of the whole SMART goal setting is making the goal measurable. A lot of times when the goal is not measurable, you have no way of tracking the progress of the goal. So for instance, I gave you a non-measurable example here. I want to make a lot of free throw shots. To Sally, a lot of free throws could be making 2 shots, where Dylan, he might want to make 8 out of 10 shots. So when you say study a lot, well, what does that mean? You need to be able to measure the success that you have. So for instance, I've corrected the example that I gave with a measurable goal, and I want to shoot 80% from the free throw line during the next basketball game. Well, that is a stat that you can keep track of for that game. Obviously, this is a very short-term goal, but if you were looking at something more long-term, so for instance, if you wanted to lose weight, okay, well, how is that going to be measurable? Okay, how much weight do you plan to lose? Okay, and you want to make it realistic as well. So you want to be able to measure your progress, and by measuring your progress, you're going to want to use a calendar to help reach those target dates so you can adjust your goal as necessary, and you can adjust based on any roadblocks that you are experiencing throughout your goal. So maybe you realize, I want to lose 5 pounds a week. Maybe you're realizing that that's just unrealistic and that goal is too hard. So you need to make minor adjustments to be able to still achieve your goal, but make slight adjustments so that way you're a little bit more successful at achieving that goal. A stands for obtainable. I also like to say this is action oriented. You have to be able to plan your steps wisely in order to achieve your goal. So you set yourself a SMART goal statement. You have to make sure that you have appropriate action steps to be able to carry out that goal. For instance, having an action plan can also help you overcome barriers to your goals, and it's really important that you identify those barriers before they arise. So some of the barriers that we have seen to not achieving a goal might be not enough time, might not have enough money to achieve a goal, procrastination, just maybe lack of confidence. So the more detailed plan that you have for setting your goal and how you plan on achieving it is going to allow you better strategy to overcome those specific barriers. So here I've used does not involve an action step, so I want to earn a 90% for quarter one by studying. Well, how do you plan on studying? We need to really focus on what is the appropriate action step here. So for instance, if I want to earn a 90% for quarter one, maybe I'm going to continue to stay during ninth period and review my notes with a teacher. Maybe I'm going to review my science notes 20 minutes before I go to bed. Those would be action steps in how you plan on receiving that 90% over for quarter one. R stands for relevant. Relevant is why this goal is important to you, making sure that the goal is realistic, and what motivators are going to help you reach this goal. Obviously, a goal has to be important in order for you to stay committed to it. So, for instance, here I've used an unrealistic example. I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks. Well, that's impossible. That's something that's not going to be accomplished. A more realistic goal there would be I want to lose 1 pound a week for the next month. So making sure, so they're going to lose 4 pounds over a 1 month cycle. That goal would be more realistic. The other thing would be, I want to make 200 free throws in a basketball game. That's unrealistic. Maybe instead of saying that to make the goal realistic, I want to shoot 75% from the free throw line. The other thing is being able to have a higher challenge for yourself, so that way you have increased rewards. Obviously, reward is going to help even motivate you more to reach this goal. So there are 2 examples of rewards, one of them being internal and another one being external. An internal reward is something that you're going to experience on the inside. So, a sense of accomplishment, increased self-confidence is how achieving the goal makes you feel, dealing with mainly emotional health. And then external rewards are additional outside motivators that might drive a person to achieve a goal. For instance, a trophy, okay? Maybe you do well on an athletic team, you get MVP or you get most improved player, you receive a trophy for that. You get good grades in school, you get a high honor roll, the long-term goal there, hopefully you get a scholarship for college. Also thinking more external rewards in a short-term mind frame, maybe your parents bribe you to do well in your next game. And they say they'll give you $5 for every basket or goal you score. That would be an external motivator. You do well on your science exam. Your parents say, hey, we'll take you out for a nice dinner or we'll take you out for ice cream. Those would be external rewards. So those would be some examples of why this goal is important to you, the rewards that you are going to get in addition to reaching that goal. T stands for timely. What is the time frame for achieving your goal? So it's really important, especially if it's a long-term goal, that you set specific benchmarks so you can assess how you're doing in achieving your goal. Just keep in mind that it does take 21 days to change a habit, so any length of time that you are setting a SMART goal should at least be for 21 days or longer. So make sure that you are planning there appropriately. It's really important that you set a time frame for yourself so that way you can assess how you are doing and being able to stay committed to that goal. For instance, I want to learn to play an instrument. Well, that's great, but you have no time frame for being able to assess yourself and how you would like to learn that instrument by. For instance, here I've used a time frame. I want to learn to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the piano by December 1st. So now that has given it a time frame. So by December 1st, I anticipate that I need to be able to be making progress towards this goal. So here I have provided an example of a SMART goal statement. Obviously, when you are making a SMART goal statement, it is very important to include all 5 areas of criteria, making sure that all of them are included in your goal. It's also important to make sure that you are stating your action steps. So you should have anywhere from 3 to 5 action steps and how you plan to achieve that specific goal. Here you can see my example of a SMART goal is I'm going to drink 60 ounces of water every day for 1 month in order to avoid dehydration headaches. Okay, great. How do I plan on drinking water? Especially if it's something that I don't enjoy. So, number one, you need to bring a water bottle to school, so that allows you an opportunity to drink water throughout the day. Number two, obviously, when you wake up in the morning, I'm sure many of you are very thirsty. You may wake up with that cotton mouth. So, the first thing that you're going to do when you get up in the morning is you're going to drink 2 glasses of water. And then finally, for the third one, maybe water isn't something that's very appealing to you. So to make it more appealing, maybe you'll cut up some fruit and put it in your water to make it taste a little bit better for you. So as we are kind of breaking down this example of the SMART goal, so if you look, 60 ounces of water is what is going to make this goal measurable. Okay. Obviously, dehydration, headaches, this is going to make this goal relevant. So this is why this goal is important to us. Every day for 1 month is going to make this goal timely. So at the end of 1 month, whether it's on a calendar or in a journal, we are going to track and see how we are making our progress towards 60 ounces of water every day for 1 month. And then obviously we have clearly labeled and listed our action steps. So this would be how we plan on attaining this goal.